Hello and welcome back to another Marvel Champions new article, live react, reveal. That was way too long of a title, but I'm here with Villain Theory. How you doing, Villain?
Yeah, I'm good. Slightly sleep deprived today, I feel like. So I could say anything, and I'm very excited for the article I didn't think was gonna drop, and then it did.
Yeah, right. We were kind of chatting back and forth. We're like, okay, if there's gonna be an article, we can do it. I'm heading out. I have some travel plans later today, and so when we didn't get one at 11, I packed everything up and then we got one at like 11:15. I'm like, go, 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 go. So here we are. I am excited to talk about Falcon. Hello, everybody in the chat. I am pretty pumped about this. I think the first thing we were kind of talking about this a little bit before we went live. This is not what we were expecting the aesthetic of Falcon to look like in this game.
Yeah, all I've seen is the art, but I'm not used to seeing Falcon. I don't really read comics that much anyway. But just with this like kind of striking red and black, I think it looks pretty cool.
I think, yeah, it looks awesome. I thought it was some like Darth Falcon or something when I initially saw
Falcon. That's a
Darth
tech name.
Falcon, because I'm so used to the MCU Falcon, which I think of more as a blue and white character, whereas this one is not that.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty interested in this. But if you have not seen one of these before, Villain nor I have seen anything about this article. So we're gonna go in completely blind, and yeah, we're gonna have some fun with it. Maybe Falcon will force me to buy Angel for his cards. Yeah. Oh, good point, JF. Let's talk about right before, just really quick. Are there any predictions that you have, Villain, for this article before we spoil anything?
Falcon's gonna be aerial, and he's gonna have some aerial cards. More than that, I'm really not sure. I'd be curious to see how his design compares to Angel, because I feel like both of their big things is that they fly.
Okay, okay. My thought is we have the leadership Falcon, which deals with the uh top deck manipulate, or like the encounter deck
Yeah.
manipulation when it removes threat. Shield also kind of has that, manipulation of the deck. So I'm wondering if we're gonna see like a shield Falcon that works right alongside of kind of using the encounter deck to somehow manipulate threat. I That would be pretty cool. It feels kind of strong, so we'll see how it goes. But okay, let's dive in.
Yeah.
This is a comic accurate Falcon pre Cap murder. Oh, before Cap was. I was like, he killed Captain America. That's new to me.
That's a plot twist.
Okay, so Captain America. Jeez, Falcon, high flying Avenger. Okay, so that's not what I was expecting. Typically, we jump through these cards and then we. But let's look at Sam Wilson. Do you want to read this alter ego for us, villain?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm just seeing it. So we got Sam Wilson, free recovery, shield trait. So we do have a shield in alter ego, which is going to be offer some good synergies, I reckon. Birds of a Feather is the ability name. I already like the name. Action. Discard one card from your hand. Search your deck and discard pile for a bird card and add it to your hand.
Okay.
Bird, new trait. Pretty excited for that. Feels very in line with maybe Maria Hill's alter ego. You get to
hmm
exhaust and find a shield support. What do you think?
I have no idea, right? Like, I don't know what a bird card is, so I can't really evaluate based off of this. Seeing a 3 recovery, 10 hand size, or 6 hand
And hand
size,
size.
10 hand size, the most OP hero in the entire game. Woo!
No, 6 hand size, 10 hit points. I forgot to say.
10 hit points, yes. Seems fairly standard. I
Yeah.
do like it. I think it's interesting that it's discard, so you're net even on your hand size. You're not exhausting, so you're still going to be able to take advantage of whatever stat line or any abilities that require you to exhaust going into the hero form. But discard a card from your hand, search your deck, and discard pile. I think that's really important because
Mm.
sometimes when you get those, shield helicarriers in your discard pile, Maria can't tutor from the discard pile, and that can throw some wrenches in your plans. But being able to basically find that bird card, I'm wondering if there's going to be multiple bird cards or if these are going to be kind of his upgrades that we're looking at.
I feel like there's got to be multiple, right? But it's kind of like Deadpool's alter ego too. Discard a card, find a card is
Mhm.
what I'm looking at, and that's a pretty strong ability on Deadpool, let me tell you.
Yeah,
So,
we have seen Deadpool break the game, and so we know how strong this can be. But um, okay, let's flip this over to no, that's not uh let's look at his hero side, then we'll go back to Redwing. Um,
ooh,
but his hero side, a 2/2/2 stat line. Yeah, that's a good stat line. Very, very
sure is.
solid. During the player phase, play with the top card of the encounter deck face up.
Oh, you were right.
Interesting. Okay. So, and then after you play an aerial card, discard the top card of the encounter deck. That's a response. It's not a forced response, so you do not have to do it. It is important to note, JF called out in the chat that Falcon is not shield traded on his hero side, but he is Avenger traded, which is interesting.
That is exciting to me. A new like Avenger hero is because we didn't get that on Shuri, we didn't get it on Silk, obviously. I'm excited to have a new Avenger. Very excited.
Yeah. He is straight up aerial traded, so there's no upgrade or anything that gives him that trait. So he's going to keep that aerial trait. And so anything that, dive bombs, bombs away, eyes in the sky, those types of cards that deal with the aerial trait, he has online turn one without any setup required. And I always like to think about Rogue being able to grabs, or does she get
Yeah.
aerial? Aerial, she gets aerial when she touches minions, and stalwart when she touches heroes. So if she puts the touched upgrade onto Falcon, aerial, and stalwart to double unlock some of her events, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And obviously, I feel like if he's looking to play aerial events, we're already looking at like team building exercise, everything like that. It's kind of. But yeah, this is really exciting. Like you get to see your boost card before it happens, or someone else's in multiplayer, and you can kind of like work through it. And I bet he's got a lot of interaction with the top of the encounter deck. This kind of is giving me like reverse magic kind of thing, where you're looking at the top of the encounter deck,
Yeah,
not the player deck. Um, so yeah,
that's really interesting. It is kind of fun to think about that you know what boost card you're going to get, or if you're about to deck out, you can kind of set that encounter card. Um, it'll be interesting to play around with. I think that'll be cool. Do we see any of the what are they? The cosmic entities? Are those coming back into play?
oh, that's interesting. I mean, never say never.
Unless we're talking about the cosmic entities, then you are pretty safe to say never. I don't know. I think you could run a shield type like global logistics Falcon deck that could deal with it potentially. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? So there you go. You can search his deck and discard pile for a bird card and add it to the hand. The most obvious target for this ability is his trusty psychic Redwing. Alrighty. Redwing. What does Redwing do for us?
Okay, Redwing is a 2-cost ally, 1/4, 1 attack, 2 hit points, aerial, Avenger, bird. So this bird is actually a member of the Avengers. I hope that's like canon. I hope that's in the lore. Uh, really long ability, hero action, exhaust Redwing, return him to your hand, and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Choose to deal X damage to an enemy or remove X threat from a scheme. Very flexible. X is the number of icons, stars, and boost, amplify icons. In the discarded cards, a boost area. Wow,
Interesting.
okay. So you get him back to your hand, so you sort of refund the cost of him a little bit, and then you get to that's such a fun, unique effect. Me and Nelson, we did an interview with Caleb on the last episode of Shadow of the Cast, and he said he designed one of the heroes for this wave, and I thought it might be Falcon, but this is giving me a lot of Tony's designs if you follow the designers and what they make. But I really like this. I think this is really interesting.
I think it's really cool. It's super flexible, right? You get to choose. You could jump with Redwing if you wanted to, knowing that you're going down to Alter Ego just to grab him right back. So he can defend, he can thwart, and he can attack. And since you are able to have a little bit of that top deck manipulation with Falcon's hero ability, and that is after you play an aerial card. So that could be Redwing, right? After you play Redwing, you could discard like a 0 boost and hope to see something a little bit better pop up in as that second card. Then use
Yeah.
Redwing's ability to pull. I mean, like if you're looking at a Frost Giant, or Laufey, like 4 boost, or any of the new Thunderbolts, like 4 damage or 4 threat removal. That's kind of interesting.
There's definitely high potential, and it's
Hmm.
interesting that with the Avenger trait and the aerial trait, you can use Avengers Tower, team building exercise. You've got like the
Yeah.
different kind of all the things discount him, and I'm just gonna guess that Sam Wilson might have a bird resource generator as a guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Since he is aerial and since he is Avenger, you can run that team building exercise, potentially multiple copies. That's something that we already are seeing with Angel because of all the aerial cards. I assume that we will probably see some aerial builds with Falcon as well. So hitting those like
yeah.
power of flights pays directly for Redwing. Team building exercise, if you have 2 of them, you can actually play Redwing twice from in a turn just by like 2 effective cost each time. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, just doing some of the rough maths here, like what I'd be looking for in terms of efficiency, which isn't everything, but this is a fun card baseline, I can tell you that. I think if I'm hitting like 2 icons, I feel like I'm getting a fairly good deal with Redwing if I'm correct. So I think this looks like a good card, very flexible card. For a unique card, it's a
Yeah.
bird.
Yeah.
I like it.
And the nice thing with the two hit points is what you if you wanted to, you could like thwart or attack. Then next turn, exhaust, return to your hand, play, thwart or attack. And so like you just kind of delay um that ability 1 turn, and then you're always getting a thwart or a ping damage whenever you put them out. I think it's cool. I'm interested to see if we see more bird cards. Um
Yeah, and just a very minor thing. This is a wild resource icon on this card, and you get to return Red Ring to your hand. So in a pinch, if you really need a certain resource icon, there's kind of a little bit of
oh,
like tech sort of use there, which I think is kind of
that's
fun.
cool. That's really clever. I like it.
Mm.
So that's Redwing. That is a signature ally. Who knows if we're gonna have? I hope it's 15 birds. I hope Falcon is running 15 bird allies. That'd be amazing. Um, that's where Falcon and his abilities come in. While Falcon
Yeah.
is in hero form, the top card of the encounter deck is turned face up during the player phase. Every time you play in, we can choose to discard. Know exactly how many boost icons? Yep. As you might expect, this lets you get the most possible use out of cards like Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is a 2-cost aerial attack, not a bird card, even though it does have bird in the title. I'm just saying. Yeah.
That's gonna
So
confuse people.
it's gonna confuse. It's confusing me, but it is aerial. Another aerial card. I do think that we are going to be seeing some power flights and team building exercises, similar builds to what we saw with uh, Angel for Falcon. I bet we're going to get some Angel love in this pack as well. So attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy. You can discard the top card of the encounter deck to deal 1 additional damage to that enemy for each icon in the discard cards boost area. This is giving me Domino vibes now. It's like a Domino
Yeah.
Magic hybrid, and I love both of those characters, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and we just had Silk announced, a few weeks ago, who, interacts with encounter cards in interesting ways too. So I'm kind of interested in this, and I can see like Scarlet Witch team ups. This is off topic for the attack card, but because she wants to discard from the top of the deck, now you'll be able to see the top of the encounter deck. A lot of interesting stuff here. Yeah, this card just is reverse Domino's attack card, where you're looking for a wild, you might get 2 damage instead of 1. This one just looking for more boost icons to boost it up from that 4 baseline. Um,
Yeah.
I think I think I like it. I feel like this is like a fairly like the realistic amount of damage this is probably dealing is like 5 or 6. I feel like it's fairly irregular for its cost, but having the aerial trait as well, it's actually gonna make this pretty good. I feel like.
Yeah. With that discount. So for a 2 printed cost, effective cost, are we looking at like wanting 6 damage to kind of be on curve
A lot
ish?
of a lot of hero cards are like 2 cost, deal 5 damage, but get this like little
Mm,
bonus like overkill or something else. This is 4 that can go up to like 5, 6, 7. And it will trigger your hero ability. So I think this is kind of just about where you'd expect it to be. Maybe even slightly better. Just the aerial trait, discountable. Kind of like it, yeah.
nice. I'm
Mm.
curious if we're going to see Falcon's crown or something, or Falcon's crest to see if we can manipulate some of those boost icons just like Scarlet Witch can. So that was
Ooh.
Birds of Prey. Bird's Eye View. I'm gonna take a wild guess. I'm guessing this is a thwart variation of Birds of Prey. You want to read this one to us? Oh, I love this art. This art looks sick.
This art is really cool. This art reminds me what I was going to say about the Falcon ally, which I think the Falcon hero is representing as well. To me, the ability to look at the encounter deck, it's kind of like him scouting, right? It's like him up in the air. He's got the kind of perspective, and he can see what's going on, which we're probably going to see sort of encapsulated within this event. 2 cost, aerial and fort traded, hero action, remove 3 threat from a scheme. You may discard the top card in the encounter deck to remove an additional 1 threat from that scheme for each icon on the discarded card's boost area. So, like you said, exactly the same as the attack one, but it's forwarding. One less threat removal than would be damage, but that's pretty typical because threat is generally more expensive. So, yeah, pretty much what we expected, and I think that's like the art's looking pretty cool too. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the pose. I really like the colors of this card. Um as a true solo player, I'm very happy with the just base 3 threat. Now we are seeing a lot more side schemes in the more recently printed expansions that are showing like 4 threat, 5 threat in that true solo, but still I would say a majority of the side schemes are clearable with just a 0 boost, but seeing that we do have um like the ability to go up to 4, 5 gives us the flexibility. I think another kind of interesting interaction here is that if we do have like Redwing and we want to use Redwing for damage, but we only have 1 boost and we don't necessarily have any aerial cards. Hold on, I was gonna say you could use Bird Eye View to clear that top card and hope for a better aerial card. But is Falcon's ability, it is a response to discard the top card of your deck. So you can't necessarily say, I'm going to play Bird's Eye View. You can't interrupt to see if you get a better one. But uh, maybe if you flip a 0 and you're like, oh shoot, I was really hoping for at least a 1, you can then respond and mill yourself to another acceleration icon.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you do. You play the event, you discard the card, and then you see what's under it, and then you have a choice whether to use eagle-eyed response or not. So I kind of like that. You're going to work for the encounter deck fast, which is interesting in terms of being acceleration icons, but probably not a huge consideration. We'll have to see how it plays out. What else it's got?
Yeah. Yeah. We've only seen one bird card. That's kind of what I'm seeing chat.
Where are the birds?
Yeah, where are the birds? Um maybe we get another one here soon, but which both scale to the number of icons. Yep. Over the course, of course, scouting the encounter deck will only get you so far. The rest of Fountain's kit is designed to help his team weather any storm that might emerge from the cards you don't see in advance. Aerial Evacuation. This is a 1 cost upgrade. It's a preparation card. So that's kind of cool. I see Coulson already kind of the shield tie-ins, right? Like we like
Hmm.
prep cards with shield. Coulson can grab some shield cards. This
Practice
is an
plan.
interrupt. What's up?
Practice plan.
Practice plan. Uh, such a good card. I'm loving practice plan. By the
Oh
way,
yeah.
aerial evacuation. When another friendly character would be dealt any amount of damage, discard aerial evacuation. Prevent all that damage and change to alter ego form. If that character is a hero, they also change to alter ego form. Tell me about this. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, preventing all damage seems pretty good on its own. Change to alter ego. I think this is really interesting. I love that we're seeing more playing with form changing. I also need to comment on the art. I think the faces are really funny. um, this just seems like another really good card.
Yeah. I like the fact that you can just completely save anybody else at the table. Or if you're in playing true solo, you save like an ally. So that could be a Redwing
Mm.
save, right? Like which like then
It's
you're exhausted. You do have to exhaust to block with an ally, so feels very
yeah.
feels a lot better for a multiplayer setting. Still pretty good for it. I mean, a 1 cost prevent all damage is pretty good.
When I had this card name, I was thinking, I think it's called Aerial Intervention, the protection event, which is,
Mm.
kind of defensive as well. But this is a better, but I think it's really thematic. I like that, you swoop in to save someone, you end up alter ego, you've flown to safety, and you can bring, if it's a hero, to safety with you. I think that's like a thematic slam dunk within the mechanics. And I'm just reading through this card again. Um, I think this is just a really good card. This is like a 1 cost attack block, right?
Yep.
You don't have to exhaust to use it?
Nope.
It's just
Um,
good. It's on curve for like the cost, but it's aerial and it's preparation traded, and it can change forms. I like this a lot. I hope he has
it's
like 10 of
it's not
these.
it's not forced. You can use it whenever. The
Yeah.
only like caveat I would say is that if you are playing true solo, you do have to have an ally out for this to be able to be used. So it is a little bit more
Mm.
set up than like a backflip or something like that. But we also it sits on the table, so you don't have to have it in your hand, which is nice. So very good card. True
Mm.
solo, it has to be another friendly character, which is I like it. I like it. I think that's really interesting.
This is
But yeah.
where me is, primarily playing two players. Not really factored that in initially, but
Yep.
yeah, no, that's definitely going to make it interesting for solo.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So that is okay. I thought I skipped one. It can pull a friend out of harm way while draw their fire. What's this one do? Oh,
I have no
ooh, it's
idea, but
already
I see the
pretty.
cost.
Very pretty.
I like the art, and I like the cost is one per player, so I'm curious what that's going to lead to. So it's another aerial preparation, so we're getting all the fun traits. Here response: after the villain phase begins, discard draw their fire, cost arrow. Falcon does not exhaust to defend until the end of the phase.
Bananas.
That is insane. So that's why
That
it's
is
one cost per
insane.
player. So it's
Yeah.
basically one cost per time you would ready up after defending. But what if there's like, somebody draws assault, these different cards that make them attack it, and you can keep defending, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This
Wow.
feels like what I wanted. The what is Valkyrie's thing where the shield maiden, where you don't exhaust to defend. That's what I wanted this to be. The fact that this is online forever, I am 1000% building a Falcon deck for the next 4 player gathering because this feels. I want to go protection, defensive specialist, armored vest. We're defending for 4 the entire time. Every single time you defend, you trigger Angel's Ares. So even if some of that damage does slip through, you're going to be able to flip down to alter ego, heal yourself right back up. I am such a fan of this card. This is so cool. And then you practice
Yeah.
plan, pull it right back.
Yeah, practice plan. I just didn't look at the card, but I just looked at the next card to see the number on it. What I can see is it looks like he's only got one copy of Draw Their Fire. But as soon as you've got, a practice plan down, it's kind of effectively more as long as you get it in the right order, you get it when you want. That's gonna be so good, like protection, Falcon especially. I'm intrigued. This is very bold design, is what I would call this card.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big swing. I love it.
Mm.
I do like that it is balanced around the 1 cost per player. And true solo, 1 cost, if nothing else, just to get it onto the table. And if you know what's coming, right? If you see that top card, you know it's an assault or something like that, and you're about to deck out. This is a very, very specific situation that we're talking about right now. But if you deal yourself the assault card, you know that that extra attack is coming. Proc draw your fire, and you can defend twice without exhausting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, is this the first hero card we've seen that is costed per player, and one of the
I
very
believe
few
so.
cards in the game that I think is, I like this. I hope they play with this more. I think this could be really
Yeah.
interesting. Really,
Yeah.
really curious to see how this, plays out in an actual game.
Yeah. Defend for the entire team without exhausting. If a relatively minor encounter card is on top of the deck, you can use Aerial Recon. Is this going to deal us a card? Aerial. Whoa, that's a new. That opened differently than the other cards have in the browser. Anyways, Aerial Recon, 1 cost aerial tactics, still not bird.
Not a bird.
Not a
I see a
bird.
bird.
I see a bird. I see a couple birds, but exhaust aerial recon and deal a player 1 face down encounter card. Place 1 recon counter here. Interrupt. When a player would be dealt an encounter card, remove a recon counter here from here instead. That's cool.
Oh,
That's
that's very
really,
cool.
really cool. Yeah. Can you weather the storm now to cancel the exhaustion or under fire fanaticism? There's a lot of things that I would rather, if I know what card I'm being dealt because of, Sam's ability to look at the top card and play with
Yeah.
that top card face up. If I know what I'm being dealt, there's a lot of times I'd rather take that. And then honestly, you can just use this indefinitely, right? You can always choose to take that card and then cancel whatever card Yeah,
I mean, to me, this card looks insane.
yeah,
Because I would be exhausting this almost every turn to some
yeah.
degree, because even if I deal myself a bad one, I can use the interrupt. Oh no, it might be dead. I see. No, okay, maybe not every time, but every time it's not that bad. And if you can weather the storm, kind of like you hinted at there, but like you don't have to use the spend a counter immediately. You could build up a couple of counters because the interrupt does not make the card exhaust. So you could take a couple extra, counter cards across a couple turns, and then the next turn, maybe for like h- two or three people at the table will just block all their encounter cards for one phase. Is that what I'm seeing?
It it feels like it. It feels like it. Yeah. Ooh, poetic
Mm.
and Chad saying Star Lord will love him. That's cool. And Thor, yeah, Esper, because if it's a minion, you can deal Thor the encounter. You can deal Thor the minion. Oh, I am ecstatic about this. I think this is going to be an
Mm.
incredible multiplayer hero. There's a lot going on here that I'm really excited about.
I would need to check the wording, but I'm even thinking like Dreadpool from the pool aspect encounter set. Doesn't he
Mm,
get dealt choose a face down encounter
yep,
card? Could I cancel that with this? Like, that kind
yep.
of thing? That
I
seems really fun.
yeah, yeah. Being able to manipulate where the encounter cards go feels very interesting. I really like the Thor and Star Lord call. That's going to be a really fun two-handed or multiplayer game to play. Because yeah, oh my gosh, heck yeah.
This
Er,
card feels like a must play. Like you must play this
Oh
card.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Oh, and it's aerial, so just playing this, let alone what it does, will still trigger your ability, which is pretty
Oh
fun.
yeah, yeah, allowing you to potentially avoid a nastier encounter card later down the line. Things start to turn south. You can utilize Talon Line. What does this do?
Great question. Two cost upgrade. I see the talent on the art. I actually really like that art. I like the way the sun is kind of like blurring it. That's pretty awesome. The art on these cards has felt really good, by the way. Just in
Yeah,
general. Hero response. Oh, it's got the item trait. So if someone's playing Jubilee at the table, they can go shopping for a talent line, as you do. I'm always out looking for one. um,
it's
Hero response. After you resolve Falcon's eagle-eyed ability, discard talent line. For each icon in the discarded cards boost area, choose one. Ready? Add character you control. Stun an enemy. Okay, so this is like a two cost, almost like a preparation, but it's not a preparation. You place that for two cost. You trigger your hero ability, which actually won't trigger because this isn't an aerial card. But once you do trigger it, you're getting character readies, you're getting stuns. I think this is good.
yeah. It's really interesting. Multi-villain scenarios. If you can stun multiple villains at the same time, if you have a ton of minions out, thunderbolts. I'm thinking right, like you have minimum
Mm,
3 in true solo. You can stun everybody. And then ready a character you control. I can see this being like a big Avengers Assemble type situation, right? He has the
yeah,
Avenger trait. You ready everybody with Avengers symbol, they get plus stats. Even Mighty Avengers, now you're looking at even more. Attack again, trigger Talon line after you use your ability, ready, and just I mean it's a game winning card
yeah,
if you
that's.
have the Avengers built up.
And I'm even thinking in multiplayer, you can ready other heroes. They cannot use their basic, stats on, your turn or another player's turn. But Jubilee's pack introduced cell phone, which does let that happen and is another item. So we're getting some item synergy here where Falcon can, uh, use the talent line and then get on the phone line. And I think that might be pretty fun.
I do think it is ready a character you control.
Oh, you control. I missed that
Yeah.
entirely. Well, I was hopeful. Okay, so like you say,
Yeah,
it's going to be an ally kind of high tempo thing on top of just readying your hero. Gotcha.
really cool. Also, I'm looking at this. I'm going to be running superpower training. It's effectively another copy of aerial recon. And then if we are able to get recon into play earlier, superpower training can always grab talent line because it is a discarded upgrade. And so
Mm,
no matter when you draw superpower training, you can throw it out there and just discard talent line, thwart it down, and get it right back. So
yeah.
that's cool. That is all of
Mm.
the cards that we got for Falcon. What are your initial thoughts on these?
Where are the birds?
Where are the birds? Well, I see a bird in blue.
Oh, interesting. Um, I like these cards. I think I think the domino shout, look just with the top of the deck interaction was a really good one. Obviously, Magic looking at the deck, but it's the encounter deck very interesting. I think there'll be a lot of interesting interaction with existing cards. I mean, even running something like Taunt, you can see the boost card immediately. Even running something like maybe Come Get Me, Bub. If you see a weak minion on top, you're gonna like play that kind of card, summon in that minion. That's just before like Scarlet Witch I mentioned.
Mm,
There's a lot of really interesting stuff there. Is this another Cosmo hero where Cosmo is just invincible for forever? Stuff like that. So there's a lot of interaction just by the encounter deck kind of side of it. I would say the events feel fairly standard. Aside from they do interact with the ability, but the upgrade stuff we looked at looks really crazy. That looks like that's what I'm really excited for. All those kind of really interesting interactions with those.
yeah. I'm 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 really excited for him, mainly in that multiplayer format. He feels exactly like the type of character I like to play, very supportive, can defend for the entire table, manipulate those encounter decks to get the right cards to the right heroes. I am excited about this pack. But we're not even done. We got some blue cards to play with. He's
Yeah.
coming with a leadership precon. I don't I guess I don't necessarily know if I think of Falcon as like a leader. Maybe after he's taken that role of Captain America, but here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect based on what I think our best guesses are for the final here, they wanted to save the other aspect for that one.
Very
I see
fair.
the bird as well now. I see the bird. I see birds, plural, in fact, on this one card.
Yeah. Birds plural. Hugin and Munin. 2 cost 1/1/2. Aerial Asgard. Okay. Cool. Was not expecting that. And bird traded. After they enter play, search the top 10 cards of the encounter deck for a minion and put it into play engaged with you. Ready one character control for each icon in that bird's area or that boost area. This is not a forced response. You can choose to do this. It's not like Angela, where Angela you have to do it, but very on theme for the Asgard, tutoring those minions, getting them out. Blue Thor just got even happier. Blue Thor got a huge boost in this last wave with like squared off, face the past. Now we're seeing even more minion tutoring in that blue aspect. That's pretty cool. 2 cost is a great. It's lightning traded. Thor loves this card. Thor
I
loves
love this
it.
card. Me and Four both love this card. What struck me is just for Falcon, and I should note to everyone, it says ready one character you control. I'm I can see that now. But for Falcon, it's got the aerial trait, which means you play it, you can trigger your ability to cycle through the top card of the encounter deck. But because you get to search the top 10 cards of the encounter deck, you're going to shuffle it anyway. So this kind of gives you two chances to kind of move through and look at the encounter deck, which I kind of like. I like that all the
Mm,
bird teams have 1 fort, 1 attack, 2 hit points. I see the theme, and I think you hit the nail on the head with four. Maybe Valkyrie because she can,
mm.
you can Bifrost this, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's exciting.
That is cool. Yeah, more Asgard love. Okay. Okay. I like it. I think this is where at this point in the card or in the game's life cycle, this is where I like the card designs to be. Very specific, very good for some. Okay. You could drop it in. I mean like to some other hero packs, but like I like this effect cuz this starts my brain kind of going. I'm like, "Ooh, what can I do with this?" So, very cool.
Yeah, I like it.
We got Flight Squadron. This is a team card. Interesting. You want to read this one to us, Dylan?
Oh, I'm excited for this
Hmm.
then.
Yeah,
Because all
that's
the team
cool.
cards we've got so far are like traits like Avenger and so
Yeah.
on, Guardian. This I can already see is different. 2 cost support, team traded. Play any if your identity has the aerial trait, and it's max 1 team card per player, which is the standard for team cards. So if each of your allies has the aerial trait, increase your ally limit by 1, pretty strong.
Hmm.
And this card gains response. After you play an aerial card, exhaust this card, ready an ally you control. Okay, what do you think of this, Nelson?
I like it. We have Sky Cycle in blue, which gives the aerial trait to an ally, and so you're not just like locked out of all of the allies that are not printed aerial. And so Sky Cycle, when you exhaust it, does it give you the aerial trait, or does it just give you the aerial trait straight up? I don't quite remember what the
I
wording is on that.
believe it gives aerial like completely. I don't think you have to ready them first or anything.
So I like that. I probably see myself running a lot of Avengers with Falcon, especially if we're running the team building exercise for the aerial cards. We get that double dip in the Avenger allies, and so if we have the Sky Cycle that we can put onto this as well, upping the ally limit is pretty cool. You can go Flight Squadron that gets you up to 7 allies for Avengers because you can go Avengers Tower, Triskelion, Flight Squadron, and Stinger for 4 extra allies. That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. The Stinger's not
I
aerial, but so you would have to get Sky Cycle on Stinger, which feels bad. Uh,
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. Before I talk too much about this card, I've just scanned the names of the remaining cards, and one of them mentions an existing ally in the game, Cloud9. Ready her up, you get plus. That's she puts +1 forwarding across all your aerial characters. Ready her with this.
that's cool.
+2 forwarding to all your aerial characters. And some of these other
Oh,
cards have aerial names. So maybe before we really dissect this card, we should look at the other ones because there might be
okay.
new synergies. Is what I'm thinking. I've not seen them yet. Just the names.
Yeah, definitely. So, Sam can summon them from his deck. Yep. Which synergizes with Aereo. 3 cost 1/1/3. Don't love it, but we can exhaust here to choose a player until the end of the phase. Each aerial character that player controls gets +1 attack.
Do you like this?
I do like that. I do like that. Especially
Okay,
if
so
we're
this
running with the Flight Squadron, where we're running all of the aerial. Um, oh my gosh, no, I really like it. Yeah.
yeah, this is the attack version of Cloud9 ally. I don't know if anyone in chat knows what Agent of Atlas means. That's the trait they have, but
Hmm.
I think this could be very, very good. Especially, you just choose a player, right? So you could, if you have like 2 aerial characters, you could use this on, I don't know, let's say I'm playing Falcon. I have aerial on the board, and I choose 4, and 4 has limited stamina and ever vigilant, and he gets +1 to his attack. I see that being very good.
Yeah. Rocket. To get
Yeah.
that overkill, right? So now you're drawing cards with that murdered you ability. Um,
Mm.
we have chat. JF is saying Cannibal is a really solid ally for because you can prevent that consequential
Oh,
damage.
that's gonna be so good for Falcon in general.
Yeah.
Cannonball, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
Um, I'm really happy with this, especially because now that we have Flight Squadron, if we play a flight card, we can ready up Aereo, attack for 2, or get multiple activations out of something else that has a higher attack, say Cannonball. Because with Cannonball, you just have to reveal the cards from your hand. So if you have the aerial cards to prevent all the consequential damage that Cannonball is going to be taking, you can just reveal them multiple times, and he's just not going to take any damage. That's cool.
Yeah, we're gonna. He's gonna be very good in a Falcon Flight Squadron deck. It feels like Arrow's looking good. I mean, even worst case, you don't use a hero action. Fought one twice and block. It's still not bad. It's maybe not ideal for a Freakus ally, but it's something you can do. So I think this is a very good card for. I mean, even yeah, I'm excited. I like
Yeah.
this.
We also have Wingman, 0 cost upgrade attached to an aerial ally. When another aerial ally would take any amount of consequential damage, we can
Here we
exhaust
go.
this attached ally, prevent 1 of that damage. That's cool. Oh, you
Yeah,
just prevent
social
it.
trope.
You don't take it. You don't take it.
Correct.
You just prevent it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. When another aerial will take it. So you need 2 aerial allies, if I'm understanding this. It's actually 1 aerial
Mhm.
ally and when another aerial ally. So you're flying together. Doesn't count your hero or anything like that. I guess the art is pretty fitting for this.
Yeah.
Um, so if you have 2 allies with aerial and they both have one of these on, they just don't take consequential damage for the first time you use them
Mhm.
per round,
Mhm.
right? That seems
Yeah.
you got to set it up, but then it's very good.
Yeah. And you just, especially if you are able to ready them, you can get both activations with only taking 1 consequential damage.
Mm. Oh, I see.
So,
Yeah, I wasn't paying full attention to the exhaust part here, but nonetheless.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, you have to exhaust the ally?
Yeah, it's
Exhaust the
exhaust
attached.
attached
Oh,
ally.
that's
Yeah,
well. I guess if you're going to be able to ready them, that's not as good as I was thinking.
no. I mean, I
Mm.
still think this is maybe if you're going for the full aerial thing. I'd have to think about it. Maybe try it, but I am
If
interested in this.
yeah, if you're going full Voltron, like if you're Voltroning Iron Man, you have someone who you want to keep around. You can exhaust cannonball or one of the birds and just like kind of hang out. Yeah, it's a nice zero cost. It's nice. Yeah, I think that.
I'm I was gonna say I was thinking about like maybe Star Lord with aerial allies, and I'm just got Guardians of the Galaxy and a zero cost upgrade is drawing cards. Something like that is it's an alternative use for a zero cost upgrade, but
Yeah,
it's yeah the exhaust feels like a heavy cost.
yeah. So many different traits on display. He can make use out of the flexible strength and diversity. So not strength in numbers, but we do have strength and diversity, which is a 2 cost per player alliance card, meaning that other heroes at the table can help pay for this. For each different trait on a friendly characters in play, choose to remove a threat from a scheme or deal a damage to an enemy. That's good.
I love the idea behind this. I've been hoping for a long time to like alliance cards that like mix and match different traits. This is like a very generalized one. And I mean, let's think about this realistically. It's any trait. It's not just Avenger or Guardian, because like the artwork, we've got a Shield, a Web Warrior, and then an Avenger. But we could have like Aerial. We could have Psionic, and it's for any characters. So like Vivian has 3 traits on her, for example. Am I reading that correctly? It's not just what you control, etc., etc.
It's just
That
in play.
looks that feels like it would have a high ceiling.
Yeah. I want to throw this into a rogue deck and have rogue touch some sort of like Mr. Sinister after he has all of his attachments, and now you're looking at just a stupid amount.
That is
Um,
crazy.
that's really interesting. So Falcon just by himself has Ariel and Avenger, and so we are not too far off of just a 2 cost. If we wanted to get what 4 threat would probably be 4 to 5 threat would probably be on curve here.
I mean, for solo play, this is just a cost of Phlogistus, right? So if you were to get up
Sure.
to 4 for just 2 other traits, you would be pretty happy with this, I feel like. But you could also flex it into damage, right? Because you can choose individually.
Yeah,
Which
which makes it
seems good.
even
This is
better.
giving what is it called? Gunboat diplomacy. It's giving a
Yep.
little bit of all points bulletin. Um, but the cost gets better in 4 player for the same way that like player side schemes do, and because only the initial player loses a card from hand. Everyone else just pays the. Or I mean, you can split up how you pay for it, but 2 per person roughly. Um, yeah, I
True
think if you could
Blazing.
build for this can go
Yeah.
crazy.
True Blazing and calling out Children of the Atom just gets 3.
That's a great one.
That's amazing. I love that. This is really cool. I do like the for each choose wording means that you can split it up. I've been having a ton of success with All Points Bulletin with Maria Hill being able to split that up and be very flexible on where that threat or
Mm.
where that damage goes. Clear out a minion with 1 damage, clear out the main and a side scheme. Because once you're kind of built up, and if you have this army going forward, it's intense. I also think that this could make it kind of fun to run like some of the off Avenger allies in like an Avenger Swarm deck with Falcon, throwing Honorary Avenger on them, but also, cheating Rocket in with a Make the Call. Then you have the Guardian and you have Rocket, which is your minion clear, and so you're getting extra traits that way. It's an interesting card. I think it's going to be fun. Scales a lot. Well, I guess like it scales in both ways, right? In 4 player, you're paying 8 for it, but there's gonna be a lot of traits on the table.
I think this is going to scale up really well. Like as long as you have 1 or 2 allies out, I feel like for most characters, okay, I feel like if you have 3 traits per person at the table, you probably have not just good value in terms of not like number amount, but the flexibility that the card offers. It's going to be a good card and a very fun card for them to build around. I
Yeah.
like it.
Extra ally slot from Fight Squadron and Adam Warlock. Very familiar with Adam here. Won't spend too much time on him, but this is a character that we have gotten before. But he does have that
Got the
aerial mystic trait, so mystic is
Mystic.
nice. And Cloud9, another reprint for us. Aerial Champion, so another trait for us. And this is kind of the opposite of Aerial that we were talking about earlier, where you get to give all your aerial characters +1 thwart. So cool stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about the leadership precon?
I've already got Adam Warlock and Cloud9, but I see how they kind of work with the flight package. I think it was good to show them here. But the other stuff I really like. I love what are they called? Hugin and Munin. I just think for the Asgard heroes, for Falcon, but just for anyone maybe running Strength and Diversity deck because it's giving you Aerial, Asgard, and Bird on 1/2 cost ally. That just seems
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I think the whole Bird thing is fun. The Flight Squadron thing, I think with Arrow and Cloud9 in mind, that card starts to look really good.
Mm,
Wingman, mixed feelings on, need to think about it more. Strength and Diversity, so surprised it's not a kind of draw card, kind of strength and number style card. Um, but I'm just I feel like the potential for this is very, very high. And
yeah.
I feel like real talk, you get the precon with Falcon. I think there's a world where maybe you strip those out, put in some more aero stuff, or there's a world where you strip out some of the aero allies and just take allies which have like all new traits to you and go all in on that because that is a solo viable card in my opinion.
Hmm.
That just goes crazier in multiplayer. So
Yeah.
maybe you can keep it together. I'm sure it would do fine. But there's different directions. There's almost like two archetypes, kind of almost, which seems really good value.
Yeah. I'm happy with this. I think it's a new, maybe not a new direction, but like a direction that's getting a little bit more support where you're not going full team mode, you're going full like diverse mode, which
Yeah.
is very viable in leadership already when you're playing non-shield traded heroes and you're running Maria Hill. You're running
Mm.
some of these allies that are just good for your deck build, and now with strength and diversity, you have a way to flex into even creating more impact by running those off or dissimilarly traded allies. I think that's pretty interesting. I think
Yeah,
that's really
it's
cool.
I just having a card that rewards you for diversifying is I love this. I really like all of this, and I was just thinking about the other aerial things we have in leadership already. We've got is it called Flight Formation? Readies up multiple aerial characters. It's going to go so well with like aerial stat boosts. We have I think it's Air Superiority,
Hmm.
but for each aerial character you have deals damage to a different minion. Hugin and Munin summoning in another minion is gonna like combo super well together. Like I feel like this feels like a really well thought out expansion of Aerial. So full thumbs up from me so far.
Nice. Alrighty, real quick because I do have to run. But we do get another Thunderbolt mod set in the back of this pack. I am loving the Thunderbolt scenario. And so since we can sub these in, I'm very excited about this. But Fixer is a 2/1/15. That's actually a fairly low health for some of our Thunderbolts. Villainous. When a non-scenario specific tech attachment would be attached to the villain, attach it to Fixer instead. Treat the text on that card that refers to the villain refers to Fixer instead. I'm assuming that we're gonna
Okay.
get some tech stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glancing the names of the other cards here, and I can see that we are. I think there's already like villains in the game which have tech attachments that boost them up. So I feel like there could be some potentially fun scenarios to drop this in. Maybe you could put the Goblin Glider on him. I think that's the tech
Ooh,
advanced glider. Yeah, 15 health seems fine. I'd have to see the rest of the kit, but I like the idea of it. I like what he's doing in the art. He's like manipulating the tech. Um, that seems cool.
oh yeah, I missed that. That is cool. We have Jetpack, which is a tech card, gives the enemy aerial, and then when the attached character would take 3 or more damage, prevent all of that damage and discard Jetpack. It's annoying.
Kind of a tough card kind of thing in a way.
I do
Or
like
three more.
Yeah, I do really like this modular set to drop into non Thunderbolt scenarios, mainly just like being able to have these upgrades for villains, I think is really fun to kind of play around with.
Yeah.
We have the tech pack. What does tech pack do for us?
You attach to Fixer, otherwise attached to the villain. I think that's a theme we're going to see. Attached enemy gets +1 attack for each other tech attachment it has. So definitely, maybe want to try and get rid of these. +1 scheme, +1 attack to the character. Hero action, exhaust any number of characters you control with a combined thought greater than attached enemy scheme. Discard
Oof.
this card. Don't want this on the final villain of Agents of Shields. Is kind of what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Oof. Sunfire's
Yeah.
happy.
really interesting because it's a double stat boost, right? It's got the flat stat boost on the
Hmm.
bottom left, but then attached, for every other tech attachment. So this could potentially be +2 attack, +3 attack, and a really unique kind of way to get rid of it too. So yeah, I like this card. Triple boost icon too.
Yeah, and then top that off with his technological innovation, which is his fourth threat, baseline fourth threat side scheme. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a tech attachment and reveal it. Place one additional threat here for each tech card in play, so minimum 5 threat actually on
Yeah.
this. That's annoying. That's mean. I don't like it.
That is a little bit mean, especially if you're playing a character with a lot of tech like Iron Man, because it's going to read the player ones as well, right? Um,
Yeah. Oh shoot.
so fully built up Iron Man could. I mean, he's really good at forwarding it. Fortunately, one acceleration icon's probably not the end of the world for him, but I like that interaction and interacts with player side. I was hoping some of the tech stuff here would interact with player tech, and it looks like this is the one. So, yeah, pretty cool.
That is cool. I'm excited for him just to kind of throw some more flexibility into that Thunderbolt scenario. I think that's going to be really cool. I'm trying to figure out where do we see Falcon Hero Pack arrives in June. Okay, so we're going to get Falcon here in June. Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty quick because we have 2 hero packs before June. We're at the end of March right now. So it does feel like we're getting back to a quicker release cadence
Yeah,
than what we have
that's
been.
good. I
Yeah,
like that.
very happy with that. Okay, very quickly, any final thoughts on this pack?
I'm known to, get a bit excited when I see a new hero article, etc., etc. But my initial hot take is I might be looking forward to this more than Silk and Shuri. So I like what I see. I think this is very cool.
I completely agree. I really like this. I'm thinking that this is going to be the one out of those 3 that I'm most looking forward to. It feels right up my playstyle. That being said, I'm probably going to buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're both getting all of these packs, but this one looks good. Looks really good. And a new Avenger. Still so happy.
Yeah, new adventure. Awesome. Okay, so Villain, are you going to do a deep dive on Falcon on your channel? Are you
Almost certainly. The Silk one took a while, so no promises exactly when, but it could be up tomorrow. It could be up in 2 weeks. Stay tuned.
nice? So, uh go follow Villain Theory's channel to make sure that you get the deep dive, highly analytical thoughts on the new pack. And yeah, thank you all so very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on, Villain. It was a chaotic morning, but I appreciate you coming on and looking at the new hero with us.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Sweet. Alrighty. We will see you around. Let us know in the comments of the video what you think about Falcon. Alrighty. Peace.
See you guys.